In this set of notes, you're going to learn how to do a metric-metric conversion. By the end of the notes, you'll be able to answer what the SI base units are, what SI means, and you're going to be able to hopefully list the steps for doing metric conversions. It's important to know the difference between a quantity and a unit. A quantity is something that has some kind of size, like the volume of something, the mass of something, the distance of something. Those are quantities, whereas a unit is what you use to measure a quantity. For example, to measure volume, a quantity, you'd use the liter, which is the unit for volume. Or for mass, you would use a kilogram or a gram. Distance, you might use a meter. SI units are units that are used throughout the world. So SI stands for Standard International. Here in the United States, we don't use the SI units every day, but in other countries you'll notice that they do. Even in Mexico, if you go down across the border, you'll see that gasoline isn't by the gallon, it's by the liter. There's 7 international prefixes that we're going to be using in chemistry class because chemistry is a science and all sciences use international units. We're going to be using meters for length, grams for mass, or you think of it as weight, seconds for time, kelvins for temperature. We'll use moles when talking about the amount of a substance, instead of like cups where we use in the United States to measure something. We're going to use the mole in chemistry. Volume, we'll use liters. And temperature, we're going to use Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So let's say we have 1,000 grams. And we want to know how many milligrams that is. So X milligrams. So we're going to follow the steps for solving how many milligrams is in 1,000 grams. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the prefix for our known on the data table. And our known is the number that we know how many we have of, so 1,000 grams. Grams is what we're going to look up on the conversion table, and grams is actually a base unit. So right there. The second thing we're going to do is find the prefix for our unknown on the data table. Our unknown, we don't know how many milligrams we have. So milli is, and if you look it's an M, and this is an M right here, milli. There's a difference between the M's. This is an M, this kind of looks like a U thing. This is a capital M. So there's a difference. So this is the milligrams that we're looking for. It's a little m. So then what we're going to do is we're going to count the number of spaces that our finger would need to move to get from the known, right here, grams, to the unknown prefix, which is over here, milli. So we would go 1, 2, 3. So we had to actually move our finger from this spot to the next spot, to the next spot, to the next spot. So we moved it 1, 2, 3 places. I gave you a handout for converting metric conversions, and it looks like this here. So if you look at your handout and find the top portion of it, it looks just like this. When we're talking about a base unit, we're talking about meters, liters, grams, or seconds. You can find the base right here. So if you have some measurement and it's in meters, you're always going to start right there with, your eyes or your finger or whatever. Okay, so it's any unit without a prefix. A prefix are all these other things. Deca, hecta, kilo, centi, milli, and so on. Those are all prefixes. So we would have deca and base. So deca, a base is liters, like decaliters. Or kilo, a base unit is grams right here. So kilograms. So kilo is the prefix, grams is the base unit. So we were talking about 1,000 grams, and we want to know how many milligrams that was. We were at the base for grams, because grams is over here, it's a base unit. And we went to milli, because that's what we want to know. We know we had to move from base to milli this direction, and we needed to move our finger 3 times. So what we're going to do is we're going to move our decimal, the number of spaces, in the direction that our finger moved. So on the number 1,000, the decimal is here at the end. If you're not sure about that, type the number 1,000 into your calculator and press enter, and you'll see that the decimal is at the end. So 1,000, we're going to move that decimal 3 times in the direction to get to milli, so we're going to move the decimal 3 times. So 1,000, decimal's here, 1, 2, 3. New home for the decimal. Fill in those loop-de-loops with zeros, and our new answer is big, a big number, and that's how many milligrams we have. So to write it correctly, I would write 1,000,000 mg. Notice I don't have an answer with 2 decimal points. If I want, I could put my decimal at the very end, but this is what we got, 1,000,000.